so different. Some mornings, I mean, by the time I get up here, there's like a hush. And everybody's just like waiting to start. And sometimes it's like everybody's everywhere, and I don't even know. I actually like it when everybody's everywhere. That means you're talking and having a good time and getting to know each other. That's a good thing. I love that. There was a study done. I believe it was published in the Journal of Basic and Applied Psychology. In the study, the scientists would take two strangers, put them in the same room, and have them talk for 10 minutes. And the conversation would be recorded. Then afterwards, they would take each person individually, have them listen to the recording, go bit by bit, and try to discover how many times they lied in that 10-minute conversation. And all the time, it's like after they finished the conversation, they're like, did you tell the truth? Oh, yeah, you bet I did. But once they actually listened to the recording of the conversation, they would say how many times they lied. Well, on average, a person in a 10-minute conversation lied 2.92 times. So almost 3 times, almost 3 lies in a 10-minute conversation. Which leads you to ask, how many times a day do people lie? Of course, these were different stages of lies, and we might say, you had just exaggerations, you had sort of half-truths that left out important details that just kind of made them look good, and then you had just outright falsehoods. But about 3 lies for a 10-minute conversation, which just points out a really disturbing reality, and that is this: we lie so much we don't even realize it. We don't even realize that we're lying. There was another study where they didn't record any conversations or anything, but they would ask people to, it's anonymous, everything. They would ask people to review in their minds the day and think about it, try to figure out how many times during that day they had told a falsehood, that they had told a lie. And on average, the people could remember telling about 1.62, of course there's a lot of people in this study, 1.62 lies, so about 1.5 lies that they could actually remember telling during that day. So if that were the case, then the average person tells about 600 memorable lies in a year. There was another study done where they asked people, are you a liar? Are you a liar? 97% of the people said no, okay? Of the 3% of the people who said, yes, I'm a liar, when they did further study, they discovered that they were 28 times more likely to tell the truth than the people who said, no, I'm not a liar. Here's the point of me telling you all these studies done. You are a liar. And you are a bigger liar than you even realize. And the same applies to me. We live lives that we're stretching the truth, we're exaggerating, we're not telling the whole story to make ourselves look better. We're telling just really making up stuff that's sort of in some way related towards something that's true. Do that so much, do not even realize it. And it's so common. And anytime there's something that is super common, anytime there's something that's just everyday, it becomes fairly acceptable. I mean, good grief. Everybody, literally, everybody lies, and not just a little bit, quite a bit, and it's just an everyday thing, so surely it's really not that big a deal, right? It's it can't be that big a deal if it's so common. Well, we've been in this study of the book of Proverbs, and left my clicker over here. And we've been discovering all these wise sayings that are found in the Old Testament book of Proverbs that is in the Bible. And we discover in the book of Proverbs that lying is a really big deal. It's a really, really big deal. Let me just start off with this. Proverbs 12:22. The Lord detests lying lips, but He delights in those who tell the truth. The Hebrew word for detests is a word that means it's an abomination. It is despicable. It makes you nauseous. That lying is something that just makes God want to throw up. It is so revulsing, so repulsive to him. And we might ask, why does God get so bent out of shape about lying? Why does that just bother him so very much? Well, for one thing, it's an offense to his very character. God is truth. God is reality. God speaks the truth. God loves the truth. God just detests anything that is bent and twisted and falsified, because it is against his very nature. Hebrews 6:18, you might remember the verse that says, God cannot lie. And it's not like, okay, God cannot say certain words, okay? It's God doesn't lie. It's just not in his nature. He does not lie. His very nature is truth, and he just doesn't do it. On the other hand, the enemy, we call Satan, his language is lies. You might remember Jesus saying this about Satan. He said in John 8:44, he was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth. For there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Lying is Satan's language. That's just his language. And when we lie, we are speaking Satan's language. More importantly, when we lie, we are taking on Satan's nature. A lie represents everything that God is not and everything that Satan is. Another reason that God, and a big reason that God hates lies, is that lying hurts people. Lying simply hurts people. Proverbs 26:28, the first part of it, we'll read the rest later. A lying tongue hates those it hurts. Lying hurts. And it may not seem like it at first. It may seem very innocent. It may not seem like it really makes any big deal. But a lie hurts people. Some of the hurt is obvious, like this. Proverbs 25:18. Telling lies about others is as harmful as hitting them with an axe, wounding them with a sword, or shooting them with a sharp arrow. Imagine that. If you tell something about somebody that's really only kind of a half-truth, that's not the whole story, if you say something about somebody that's really a distortion of the reality, if you kind of bend the truth, you might as well be hitting them with an axe. You are doing something extremely, extremely hurtful. Proverbs 10:18. Hiding hatred makes you a liar. Slandering others makes you a fool. To tell things about other people that is not fully true is absolutely the most foolish thing to do. Lying breaks relationships. This is a huge deal. I'm not even talking here about those lies that are slander. I'm not talking about slander. I'm just about telling somebody something that isn't true. Okay? Telling somebody lies breaks a relationship. My son Ben, his makeup in this way is a lot like me. He's not a good liar. He's just not a good liar. He can't lie well, and so he doesn't tend to lie very much at all. If Ben says it, you can pretty well bet it's true. Now, I'm sure we'll struggle with lying down the road at some point. But my daughters are very, very different. We have been through stages with them where lying was really, really a problem. And I approach, and Aaron too, I just approach lying differently than any other thing that they do that might be wrong. I'll get angry if they do what we tell them not to do, or if they're mindless and make a big mess, or something like that. But if they lie to me, it's just something totally different. I must have said 100 times, telling the truth is the most important thing. Telling the truth is so much more important than you getting in trouble or not getting in trouble. Telling the truth is so much bigger deal, because if you don't tell the truth, I can't trust you. If you don't tell the truth, it hurts us. It hurts us. I want us to have a close relationship. We have a loving relationship. I want to grow up with you. But if you lie, then it will mess us up. I don't want them not to lie because they'll get in trouble if they do. I mean, that's important too, and I'm sure that'll happen. I want more than anything for them not to lie because they don't want to destroy their relationship with me, with their mom, with anybody else. Because there's something that lying just breaks relationships. And you know this, you've experienced this, that your closeness to somebody is directly related to how much you can trust them. Probably all of us, maybe all of us, maybe you're better than me. We have relationships that were basically built on us misrepresenting ourselves. That we put forth an image, we put forth a this is who I am, and built this relationship with somebody. And now, years later, I couldn't tell them the truth. I couldn't tell them the truth. I mean, it would destroy the relationship. What kind of relationship is built on lies? Now, I imagine most, if not all of us, that are married misrepresented ourselves in some way to this person that we were either going to marry or had recently married. And that little lie, or those series of lies that we told our significant other, they're just still floating there, right? It's still there. It doesn't go away. And until I own up to it, it doesn't go away. It's just always there. And it's haunting just a little bit. Just this week, I'll just be totally honest with you. Just this week, I was thinking about this, okay? I was thinking, okay, what lies do I have drifting out there? And I'll talk more about this later. I'm not a good liar, okay? I'm a bad liar. But some of my best lies, I say best lies, that's a bad way to say it. Some of my most memorable lies have been in simply not saying anything at all. You know what I'm talking about? Simply allowing the person to go on believing what they were believing because it made me look good, even though it wasn't the truth. So this week I actually told Erin this. I got to tell you this. You know, there's this time, but then and I told her, and I was like, and I just let you go on thinking that, and it wasn't true. And she was like, why? Why did it? It was just my pride. It was just my pride. Just me. I want to appear good and for you. I want you to think highly of me. And that's what does that. But lying keeps us. A relationship that is based on lies, a relationship that has lies in it, is going to grow. It's going to grow cold. A relationship that is based on the truth of being open and honest, lovingly open and honest with one another, is a relationship that actually grows. What about those lies? They just don't seem to hurt anybody. I mean, they're not things that reflect badly on somebody else necessarily. They just, we just kind of tell them or let them be known some way. They just make us look good or just more convenient for us, and there doesn't seem to be anything damaging about it. What about those kind of lies? Well, the writer of Proverbs says that lies hurt you, even if they seem to hurt nobody else. Skip that one. The crooked heart, this is Proverbs 17:20. The crooked heart will not prosper. The lying tongue tumbles into trouble. Writer says lying is about your heart. Lying has to do with your character. It has to do with your heart, and your heart is the most important thing. If you lie, it just reveals that something is wrong in your heart. When I tell a lie, when I communicate a falsehood, that just is a symptom of that there is something wrong in my heart. And if I lie, it will cause conflict and cause painful situations as time goes on. And don't think that all those hidden lies, those little lies that nobody's ever likely to find, don't think those hidden lies stay hidden. Proverbs 12:19. Truthful words stand the test of time, but lies are soon exposed. It's gonna come to light. It's gonna come to light. Wealth created by a lying tongue is a vanishing mist and a deadly trap. That little fudging on your resume to get that job, that modifying your appearance of income in order to get better tax return or to pay less taxes, that kind of stretching the truth about a product in order to make the sale, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. It is decaying, it is destroying, it is rotting away your heart. It is a trap. It is a trap to try to gain through falsehood. Here's the reality. Proverbs 13:5. The godly hate lies. The wicked cause shame and disgrace. Now, you catch this? It's the wicked. The ones who are wicked, the ones who cause shame and disgrace, are the ones who tell lies. Those who are godly hate lies. Now, that doesn't mean that those who are godly never, ever, 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 ever tell a lie. But it does say this: one who is godly hates lies, and they most hate the lies that come out of their own mouth. So, to sum it all up, the reason we said all this stuff is to just say, lying really is a big deal. It really is a big deal. It's a huge and detestable offense to God, and it's a destructive force in our lives. Lying comes from a wicked heart, and it does great damage, even when that damage is not immediately obvious. And all of that is a real problem because you lie and I lie. So, like I mentioned before, I'm a bad liar, okay? I try to be very open with you. When I'm talking about something that I really struggle with, I try to let you know. So a lot of my struggles are very well documented. My struggles with pride and greed and selfishness and a lot of things related to that. You guys that have heard me a lot, you know those things. But I'll tell you that I don't have as big a problem with lying, in large part simply because, like my son, I'm a terrible liar. I discovered this, well, just more dramatically, when I was 16. I was 16 and I was driving, and I had a car packed full of, I don't know if they were all friends, but they were all teenagers, okay? So I had this car packed friends, and we were just kind of feeling mischievous, we were going to, do a little adolescent, have a little adolescent fun. So I thought of this idea. This was a great idea. We were going to go through the McDonald's parking lot, McDonald's drive-thru, sorry. We're going to go through the McDonald's drive-thru, and I was going to order 7 waters, 3 with ice, 4 without. I needed 2 small, 3 medium, and 2 large. Now, the 2 medium, I needed lids on those. And 1 of the large, I wanted a lid. But I wanted straws on. I had this whole thing planned out. I was going to order 7 waters, just to be an idiot, okay? I just wanted to be, I was feeling it. So we pull up to the drive-thru, we got the friends there, and so I start off, okay, yes, I would like 7 waters, 3 with, and I just lost it. I just couldn't do it. I could not. It was even just a speaker. I wasn't even looking anybody in the face, but I could not do it. I'm just a terrible, awful liar. And so, not to say I never tell a lie, but I'm just not good at it, and so that's kind of curbed that compulsion that we all feel toward lying. As I say, some of my biggest lies, most memorable lies, have been in not saying anything at all. There was this, when I was a kid, my parents, we built a house when I was about 6 years old, and they bolted into the wall of a room we called the playroom, bolted into the wall a full-size basketball goal, into the studs. And of course, we weren't supposed to dunk or anything like that, but it was kind of funny because we had 7-foot ceilings. So, obviously this was a strange little setup. But anyway, my parents had a family over, and they were talking with the parents upstairs, and I was downstairs with the son, and we were playing, and of course, I was showing off. Okay? That's what I did. So I was showing off, and so I was dunking on this goal that was been, and I partially tore the goal out of the wall. My parents come down later, and they assume that the other kid did it. That's how good a kid I was, okay? No, I really wasn't that good. But they assumed the other kid did it. And, the other kid was kind of wild and crazy, so obviously it was an easy assumption to make. And I didn't say anything to make them think otherwise, of course. Just 2 weeks ago, we were sitting around the dinner table for Sunday lunch, and my mom had made dinner like she usually does a Sunday lunch. We're sitting around the table, and for some reason, I tell this story to my kids and the family, and Mom was there. And Mom said, until this very moment, I thought the other kid did it. And I know she was thinking, I wonder what other things my son did that I didn't know about. And I'm sure there were quite a few. I lied. I deceived my parents without saying a word because I wanted to avoid getting in trouble. And that's one of the reasons we lie. There's a number of reasons we lie. We'll talk about some of them. One is in order to avoid getting in trouble, or in adult terms, to avoid other people disapproving of us, to avoid other people getting angry with us, to avoid getting fired. I'm late. And so I say, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. The traffic was just terrible. The traffic was awful. Okay, the traffic was bad, but the real reason I'm late is because I left late because I was doing something different, right? That's the real reason I was late. Say something like, somebody tells us something major that has happened in their life, and we haven't, done anything for them. We haven't, mentioned it to them, and we say, oh, I didn't realize that was, I'm so sorry that happened. I did not know. The truth is that I did hear about that, but then I was in the middle of something and I forgot about it, and I just forgot about it, and I didn't do anything about it. I just feel bad about it. Lie. Here's one that, as someone who does a lot of preaching, you get to hear. Oh man, I haven't been going to church because it's just been so busy. I've been so very busy. Which is certainly true. I mean, most all of us could say, oh, just extremely busy. But usually, typically, the real reason is that I just haven't been prioritizing God or the things of God or the people of God. I've just been living selfishly, and not being at church is just one symptom of many of my spiritual emptiness. So many times that's the truth behind it all. But we lie because we just don't want to face negative consequences of telling the truth. And it seems to work, at least for a little while. Another reason we lie is to get people to think highly of us. One of those studies I mentioned, they discovered that women more often lied to make the other person feel better. Men more often lied to make themselves look good. Imagine that. That's really interesting. But that's one of the reasons both males and females, we lie. We tell a story to someone and we exaggerate some point. We stretch the truth. We kind of maybe combine a couple of stories together to make it a better story, to make us look better in the story. Somebody says, oh, I hate this. Somebody says, oh, you're from that town. You must know. And they say it like, you should know that person, right? I mean, you should know that person. And you're thinking, yeah, sure I know that person. Yeah, you bet. And we don't want to slow down the conversation. We don't want to, make them think we're less knowledgeable or stupid. So yeah, or oh, have you read the book? Have you read that book? And you say, Well, I've read part of it. Yeah, I've read parts of it. And you're thinking in your mind, I think I saw a quote from that book on Facebook. So I've sort of read part of it. We tell these little half-truths, untruths in order to make ourselves look better. We lie because we want to be accepted. We want to be part of the group. We don't want to look stupid. We want to look knowledge and capable. In fact, I mentioned before, some of our relationships that we have with people were begun in conversations where we simply told lies. There was a large church fairly recently that did a kind of a confession thing online where you could just anonymously confess what you had done. Here is one woman's confession that she sent in. She said, "My husband thinks I was a virgin when we got married. But the truth is that not only was I not a virgin, but I had an abortion when I was 19. Now my husband and I have not been able to have a child, and I feel like God is punishing me for my lies. I don't know what to do." Can you hear that pain? Can you hear that struggle? How in the world do you deal with that? How do you come clean? How do you get that off of you? I would imagine that some of us, maybe all of us, have done that with our spouse. And you may have a lie hanging out there that you don't know how to fix. And I don't know what the best way is, how to come clean. But I would just ask you to do this. If that applies to you, then you start praying now. You don't have to hear a word of the rest of this. You start praying now. God, help me. Help me know how to come clean. How to have a relationship with my spouse that is based on the truth, that doesn't have these lies that are drifting out there. On the other hand, if you have a spouse or someone that's close to you that comes to you and just drops a bomb on you, tells you a lie that they told you in the past and that you've believed all this time, and it's a big lie, and it's a personal lie, and it's a painful lie, before you just head to the hills and decide that relationship is over, would you think about the fact that how much better that relationship can be now that it's based on truth? How much better that relationship could become as you are truly open with each other, because though you didn't know it, that lie was keeping you from the intimacy, from the relationship that you desire and that your significant other desires. And remember all the lies that you've told, all the ways that you've misrepresented yourself, and have grace on those who have told lies to you. Relationships that are based on truth grow. Relationships that are based on lies simply grow cold. Another reason that we lie is to get people to do what we want them to do. It's called flattery. Okay? It's when I tell somebody something that they want to hear, that'll make them feel good, but I tell them with the motive of I want to get them to do or to let me do what it is that I want. Here's the rest of the proverb that we introduced earlier. A lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Now, flattery seems pretty harmless, okay? It really does. What's wrong with flattery? I'm just, being nice to them. I'm just saying good things about them. I'm just building them up, How could that possibly work ruin? Well, the reason it works ruin is because it is insincere. It is disingenuous. It's not real. There is a hidden motive behind it, and here's the deal. That motive will become apparent in time. And when that motive becomes apparent, it will do destruction. It will cause anger. It will cause hurt. It will do damage to the relationship. That's the way flattery works, because people eventually realize what your motive is. So it's best to ask when you're talking to somebody about something, to just ask yourself, what is my motive? What is my motive? Is my motive in being nice to them to get something from them? Is my motive for being nice to them to get them to do what it is that I want them to do? Sincere encouragement is so good. It's life-giving. It's a blessing to people. But flattery, insincere, is damaging. So, I want to talk just a moment as we close up to those of you who are just of the mindset where you think, yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but what about this? What about this? Because there are gray areas when it comes to lying, right? There are some difficult things. Like, for instance, some lies have good motives, right? Aren't there some lies that have good motives? For instance, you may be eating over at somebody else's house. Maybe you're even in a foreign country or a foreign culture, or somebody who eats very different kinds of food than you do. And they fix this food for you, and they give it to you, and you eat it, and they ask, how do you like it? And you have a problem, because it tastes like horse manure to you. What do? I'll tell you what I do. I lie. And I hope that my desire to be an encouragement to them and bless them and be sensitive to their feelings is a bigger deal than the fact that I'm not actually absolutely telling the truth. Okay? There are instances like that. Maybe a more difficult one. Your spouse says, hey, do these jeans make my rear end look big? And you're like, don't ask me those kind of questions, okay? Wives, don't ask your husbands those kind of questions. At least, especially if you're going to get offended if the answer is not positive, okay? Just, create an environment where your husband has the ability to tell the truth and not get in trouble, okay? Try to do that for your husband. And husbands, the same thing for your wives. We are just as sensitive or more sensitive than our wives are in various things. So just create an environment where you can tell the truth lovingly and not get in trouble, and help reduce those sort of situations that we have. But those times do crop up, and we struggle with knowing what to do. Then there are those theoretical situations that smart people always come up with that are like this. What if you're harboring Jews in your house, and the Nazis come and knock at your door, and they say, do you have any Jews in your house? And if you say yes, they're gonna kill these people and their lives. Okay. And so you say no, to save their lives. Okay, great. That's all good. There's even like an example in the Bible about that. Rahab did that to the Israelite spies. So, okay, fine. But here's the fact. You're probably not harboring Jews. You may be a Jew. There are no Nazis around, I don't think, okay? So most of those situations are likely never to occur in your life, even though, there's some theoretical situations like that. But we have a tendency, this is our nature, to say, oh, well, here could be an exception, here could be an exception, and us to basically just sort of make it so that it's muddier and grayer and lies are more acceptable. Please don't do that, okay? Please take lying seriously, because it is very, very serious to God. And because it's serious to God, it simply is very serious. Another thing I should say before we close is please don't use truth as a weapon to hurt people. Just because something is true doesn't necessarily mean you should say it at a particular time. Perhaps you're sitting next to someone in church and y'all are singing, and they sound like a wounded hyena. It is neither necessary nor helpful for you to tell them, you sound like a wounded hyena, okay? That may be true, but it is hurtful, okay? Don't use the truth as a weapon to hurt people. Some of us are personalities where it's like, well, I just speak the truth. I just go around and tell people what I think. I do, and okay, if they're offended, fine. If they're, hey. That's not good. That's not a good quality to use truth as a weapon to hurt people. Be careful and loving. Paul in Ephesians said, speak the truth in love. In love. If I am speaking the truth, but I am not speaking it in love, I need to be quiet. Okay? If I can't speak it in love, I need to be quiet. I need to speak truth out of a true heart of love. And then it is truly good. Having said all that, if you and I are going to be people who have growing, close, trusting relationships, if we want to be people who are trusted, who other people can trust, people who make a positive difference in this world and bring life to the people around us, if we want to be men and women of God, we must love the truth. We must love the truth. We must speak the truth. We must love the God who is truth. He is a God of truth. And to know Him is to love what is true. Let's pray. Dear God, I just pray that in this moment, you bring to the surface the lies that are in our life. Maybe the seemingly little lies that we tell on a daily basis, and that you will reveal the heart that those lies come out of. God, that you will bring to the surface maybe those big lies, those personal lies, those hurtful lies that have been drifting out there for so long and have been inhibiting our ability to be intimate with others, to be trusting with others, to truly love others. And God, I pray that you help us, having brought those lies, having brought those behaviors to the surface, that you help us to become people of truth. That you help us to become people who speak the truth in love, whose relationships are based on truth and not of a facade that we have put on in front of people, not of an image that we have built up that is just simply not true, but that people know the real us and that we know the real us. God, keep us from lying to ourselves. Keep us from living a lie. Help us, Father, to be people of truth. Your children who love you and who love the people around us. We thank you, God. Thank you for loving us. God, I know some of us here this morning, we are deeply hurt and deeply convicted because we have lies in our life that we don't know what to do with. And God, I pray that you help us to know your love. Thank you for being so patient with us. Thank you for being so patient with us when we have carried lies for years. Thank you for being patient with us when we have told lies for years. Thank you, though you detest lies, that you love us and that you are bringing us to a place where we can truly know freedom from falsehood, freedom from pretense, freedom from lies. Thank you, God, for loving us. In Jesus' name, amen.